everyone, it's Mrs. Mawson here. Thank you very much for taking a couple of minutes to listen to this video as I explain about our Forest Family Lunchtimes, as I know one or two of you have had some questions about what it is, why we're doing it, and if you can have a look at it as well. So I'm hoping that this video will explain everything you need to know, and then at the end invite you into some sessions over the coming weeks to have a look at it in action. I'm sure that everyone's getting to know this sentence very well already, but two really key things in here in relation to forest family dining, and that is working together. That's children working together, but also us working together, and also making a positive difference to the world, as this is one of the reasons why we really wanted to think about introducing forest family dining. The first thing to explain is that each class at Beckford Heaton is allocated to a forest, and our forests are Grisdale, Kielder and Sherwood Forest. Many of you who have been to Friday assemblies will know that in the assemblies all the children sit in their row is their year group, but they sit in the same column as other classes who are in the same forest from reception up to year 6. So the allocation of classes to forests is now helping us to introduce forest family lunchtimes. You'll have heard me call this forest family dining in the past, and I possibly will in this video presentation too. But forest family lunchtimes are where children are eating and playing within that forest family. The exception to this is in reception. All of the reception in sitting one eat together as their year group, and then they play together in their early years playground separately from the rest of the school. But in sitting 2 and sitting 3, we have grouped together years 1, 3 and 5 and 2, 4 and 6, so that each class from the forest go to the same hall and the same table every day. So for example, children if we look at sitting 2 in years 1, 3 and 5, Beech class, Hornbeam class and Maple class all go into the early years hall as they are all part of Sherwood Forest. They go there to eat each day. They go to sit on the same table, and the teachers have worked hard together to allocate 2 or 3 children from each class to each table. So we have a mixture of year 1, 3 and 5 on each table. The same is obviously then repeated in sitting 3, where we have a mixture of year 2, 4 and 6. After they've eaten, the children all go out to play and can meet up with other friends from their class or with other children from the other year groups who are on their sitting. Over the next few slides, I'd really like to explain the reasons why we've introduced forest family dining, both in terms of the eating, the way that the children eat at lunchtime, and also in terms of the way that they play. So to start with the eating, one of the things that we really wanted to improve from last year was the long queues that children had while waiting to collect their hot lunch from the school hall, from the main hall. As you know, we have the kitchen next to the main hall, and children from year 2 upwards used to come as a year group and often have long queues of at least 35-40 children before they could get their lunch. That obviously led to some boredom and some frustration, and often then that led to, by the time the children did get their lunch, lots of children complaining to both us and to you at home that they didn't have enough time to eat. So trying to improve this experience was one of the starting points for thinking about forest family dining. We went to visit some other schools who have introduced what they call family dining to see how that would work. On top of, because the children didn't have enough time to eat, we were finding that food waste was just getting bigger and bigger and bigger. And that was often because children wanted to rush their food or only eat the best bit of the thing that they preferred most in the food so that they could then rush out to play. And because if they didn't do that, sometimes their playtime was reduced as well. So as I've said, the whole time and the calmness and the enjoyment of lunchtime, the eating part was a significant factor. We also wanted to think about how we could help more children understand that making a positive difference to the world and provide more opportunities for children in year 5 and 6 to demonstrate more personal development skills. Many of you will know that in our previous Ofsted we got outstanding for personal development, but we realised that actually we wanted all of our children in year 5 and 6 to have that opportunity to grow personally and to take on some more responsibility. So on this slide here you can see photographs from each of the halls showing children coming together onto their set table each day and then being served by the year 5 or 6 children. The way that works is that the kitchen staff and the adults who are assigned to that hall, while the children are coming in and sitting down and saying hi to one another, trays of the food are brought to each table for the year 5s and 6s to then serve to the other children on that table. What's really nice about this as well is children who have packed lunches also sit with their friends rather than in a separate hall or on a separate table as it was last year. So that's made a really lovely difference as well. You can see that the year 5s and 6s are the only ones that move around. That is as they clear the tables towards the end, or you can see somebody here doing a good job there wiping up after his table. And that has really helped to create a much calmer environment for everybody within the hall, with only the year 5s or the 6s moving depending on the sitting. Now to think about after the children have eaten and when they go out to play. So the first thing to say is that to think about the adults first of all. So Mrs. Light, who many of you know as one of our year 6 teachers, is also our curriculum and OPAL leader. So OPAL is outdoor play and learning, and she has mapped each of the playgrounds into different zones, and there is an adult allocated to each of the zones so that they can encourage the play that has been assigned into each of those zones. Some very active, some less active zones available for children. We also have introduced an observer on each playground so they can just stand, not be involved in the play, and observe what's happening across that playground just to see if there's anybody who doesn't look like they're playing with anybody, or if there seems to be a little bit of a fallout about a skipping rope or something like that, so that they can intervene quickly if anybody needs any help. What's different this year to last year is obviously the fact that children are playing in different year groups. So we've gone back to pre-COVID times where different year groups did play together. Obviously because of the bubbles and the way COVID worked over the last few years, we'd gone to year group playing. But prior to that, other than year 6, which I'll come on to in a second, other than year 6, all of the year groups did have some playtimes or lunchtimes when they were mixed. And that's obviously again in connection with personal development and also, building that sense of community, being able to see family, friends, cousins, neighbours, and all of the other connections that go on within a community. On here I've listed a few of the reasons why we wanted to make that change for the play time as well. One of the biggest things was to introduce more exciting things for the children to do at lunchtime to encourage them to be more active. I'm sure you'll all know there's so much more evidence about how important it is that we try and help children have at least 20 minutes exercise every single day, and preferably more. And so we wanted to really broaden the opportunities for different activities across our playgrounds so that children would find something that they like in order to be more active. Yes, not all the time. We know that there's some quiet moments of reading and chatting with friends too, but the wider spread of activities we have, the more likely it is that children will engage with those. So we've introduced things like scooters, we have introduced balance bikes, we've introduced a mud kitchen in the Key Stage 2 playground, we've introduced some new sports. We've stopped football at lunchtime. Football can still be played at break time, but we wanted children to try other things. So handball and basketball is going down a treat, but no football at lunchtime. And that is to encourage lots of other activities as well. In order to make sure that we had the best use of our play spaces, we didn't want to limit children going to just one part, and so children can play on either playground, but they must walk on that external corridor between the front playground and the back playground in order to get there. We have one of the that corridor is a zone, and there are staff members on that corridor as well as they move between one and the other. The other part that I've put on there is about developing a sense of independence. We know that children's involvement in decision making, problem solving, knowing how to be able to make their own choices is a big part of growing up, and so allowing a more open lunchtime is definitely encouraging that creative thinking. And more than anything, developing that sense of community. I think we've all become a little bit more isolated over COVID, and we really wanted to try and find a way of reintroducing opportunities for children to see their cousins, to see their brothers and sisters, to see their friends. Now, I know that has caused some concern, particularly because the oldest children, year 6, are also involved in playing with the year 2s and 4s. Now, that is deliberate because we know that every single person has the ability to be a great person, and where there is a concern about that with an individual or two, then of course we need to work with that child to know how to be a great person so that they can contribute to the world and make a positive difference, can contribute to our school first of all to make a positive difference. Year 6, as well as being able to play, obviously have had for a number of years different roles and responsibilities, and Mr. Kumar will be working with the year 6s over the coming weeks to reintroduce, as we always do after October half term, peer mentors, sports leaders, tiny tots leaders, reading pals, numeracy pals, all sorts of different jobs that year 6 become involved with. As well as children year 6s being able to play over lunchtime, they'll also have some responsibilities as well. So the number of year 6s at any one time will be reduced, although we know that also might hinder some of the lovely play that's been happening too. I hope that you can see on this slide some of the things that I've explained to you about the play at lunchtime now. All these photos were taken on either Thursday or Friday last week, literally just in the couple of minutes that we had in between running the lunch halls. Each one of the leaders, Mrs. Bergin, Mrs. Jones and I, we each have a lunch hall that we run, and we just popped outside in between to take those photos. And we hope that you'll be able to come and see some of these, which I'm going to explain in a moment or two. So before I explain the opportunity to come and visit and have a look at Forest Family Lunchtimes for yourself, I'd just like to take a moment to go over our 3 Beckfoot Heaton values. And as I do that, can you just have a think about what I've said and how you think these values might be helped to be developed because of the Forest Family Lunchtime that we've introduced? So first of all, growth, our logo. We are curious to find out more, we enjoy getting better, and we believe we can. Commitment, we work hard, we are motivated to learn, we never give up on ourselves or others. And integrity, we are kind to ourselves and others, we make the right choices to succeed, and we do the right thing. I hope this video has helped to explain the reasons why we've introduced Forest Family Lunchtimes in our school. I'd also like to invite families of children in year 1 to 6 to come and see it in action on one of the days and times listed on this slide here. Reception parents, we think because it's so new to children starting in school that we'd like to invite you next half term when the children have had a little bit more time to settle, only because we think that if they see you at lunchtime it might unsettle them for the rest of the afternoon. So we'll invite reception parents next half term. I will send out a form for you to sign up if you'd like to join us on one of the dates, just so that I can plan the logistics over lunchtime in terms of numbers of people in the halls and what have you. So please look out for that ping, which will come today, and you can complete the form to say that you'd like to join us. Finally, just a reminder that the Parent Forum is on Thursday the 12th of October at 8:45 in the morning, repeated at 5:30. If you'd like to come along to discuss family dining or anything else for that matter, that's your opportunity to come and meet with me as head teacher, so we can continue to work together to make Beckfoot Heaton the greatest school in Bradford, or perhaps the world. Thank you.